Let's talk about volleyball positioning. Positioning is one of the biggest tools of leverage you can kind of have as a volleyball player. And what leverage really means is kind of maximizing your output for whatever you kind of put in. It kind of helps you multiply whatever efforts you put in. And so, for example, if I wanted to cross a distance of 4 miles, if I walk, I would probably get there in an hour. But if I use a car, I might get there in 5 minutes. And so the leverage in this situation would be the car, and it helps me just go much faster. And so similarly, positioning is extremely strong for volleyball, and it really makes everything much easier about the game. When it comes to positioning, rather than chasing after balls, it's better if you actually get to the spot early when we speak about defense, right? And so if you kind of had a good understanding of where the ball was actually going to end up landing, if you could kind of position yourself there early, you wouldn't have to go out of your way to go run to the spot once that shot is actually kind of made. Looking from an offensive standpoint, you can also think about swinging out of a position of leverage, meaning that when you go jump and swing at a ball, right? If you're like super under the ball or you're hitting like kind of really far away from you, it's going to be extremely hard to hit. And so you want to make sure you're also positioned well to be able to swing any way that you kind of want. The main thing I want to kind of talk about is vertical and horizontal positioning. And these concepts matter both in offense and defense, and we're going to kind of get into it. Defense is all about filling the space. And what that means is there's always some part of the court that as a defender you are supposed to be covering. It's kind of your assignment to kind of hold that space. And so if we think about it from a doubles perspective, if a person is blocking in the line, your defensive assignment is to cover the angle because the block is supposed to cover that space. The block is covering the space in the line, and so you are supposed to be covering the space in the angle. Vertical positioning is all about staying at the 80% distance. What I mean by that is if you are positioning yourself on the court, you want to be further back than in the middle when it comes to the court because it is much easier to walk forward to pick up a ball rather than backpedaling to pass a ball. And it's also about being right behind where the ball is likely to come. Horizontal positioning is more actually about staying at the 50% distance. If there is like a zone in the angle, for example, you want to be in the middle of that kind of zone. And so that way you can kind of go into either direction to pass the ball. And so let's talk about offense. And in offense, you should only really be approaching after you see where the ball is set. Meaning that you want to delay as long as possible to actually approach. Because the longer you can delay your actual four-step approach, the better your approach will actually be in the sense of getting to the actual area where the ball is going to be set. The issue with indoor volleyball, the higher and higher you go, is the sets become so fast. They're running shoots, they're running threes, they're running super fast sets to where you're supposed to be jumping even before the ball leaves the setter's hand at times. And so it is extremely hard to optimally position yourself to hit out of a point of leverage. When it comes to vertical positioning, when it comes to offense, it's about staying behind the ball and really making sure you're not getting under the ball. Because when you get under the ball, you're going to continue to look upwards and you won't have great peripheral vision at the point of contact. And similarly, when you're also under the ball, you're going to be reaching back and your shoulder is going to be a little out of place. It's going to be really hard to hit the correct area that you want. You're going to notice that when a lot of people get under the ball, they either get roofed or they end up swinging that ball super far out. It's like a home run. When we look at horizontal positioning is about keeping your shoulder in line with the ball. And what that means is you have your hitting shoulder. So if it's my right shoulder, you want to make sure that your shoulder joint is aligned with the ball. And I think a player that really does this extremely well is Ahmed Tijan from Qatar. He is always positioned himself extremely well on the horizontal, and he has the ability to hit the ball wherever he wants. Because when you don't have to reach out to either side to swing at a ball, it makes hitting the ball where you want extremely easy. In my opinion, I really think horizontal positioning is actually more important than vertical positioning because even if you get under the ball at times, as long as you have a little bit of understanding of where the block is, understanding the game state, as long as you have the ability to have your shoulder in line with the ball, even when you're under it, you can still get a strong swing in any kind of direction. I know people always say don't get under the ball, make sure you stay back. And that is very important, but even more important is having strong horizontal positioning. Appreciate you guys if you watched this far. Like the video if you like the video, and subscribe for more volleyball content.